FatDag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, FatDag.
I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at FatDag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. That's right, I believe in you. And why do I believe in you? Because I know it can be done. And if it can be done, then why can't you do it? That's right. Welcome to episode 185. This show is going to be a little bit unique for the first time ever. This show, all the email on this show are sent in by members of the male population. That's right. This journey knows no gender. If you don't like the way you look, if you don't like the way you feel, it doesn't matter what gender you are. The journey is the same. But I will give you a warning. Some of the guys out there, they're a little long-winded. So breaking all of the molds out there, I ended up a couple of them. For those of you guys who are on the show in particular, I did edit out some of your email. I had to keep the show so we could get it done in one evening. But we'll open up with Kirk. You guys may remember a couple days ago, on a couple episodes ago, I said something to the effect of, along the way, as you're working this journey, you have to gain some weight. You're going to lose some weight, gain some weight, lose some weight, lose some weight, lose some weight, gain some weight, lose some weight. Meaning that, as long as you follow the trend line, you're going to have success, and that no one can follow this plan and lose every single week all the way to goal. Well, I stand corrected. Kirk writes in and says, "Hello, thanks for the podcast. I joined the Weight Watcher community in January this year after the prompting from JR58160, who also told me about your show. I heard you say a comment or a request to know that if anyone loses weight every single week from beginning to goal. I think you said it doesn't happen ever, or perhaps you were meaning it was rare. Well, I've had a perfect experience so far, and I love every week. But for me, it is. I'm down 33.4 pounds in 3 months, and I'm on track for another 2 to 3 pounds gone this coming Friday. I'm going to be 15 pounds from goal, and I expect a perfect landing by the end of June when I meet goal. Along the way, I learned more than just eating. I love if you're out of points, stop eating points. Here's my chart. It's attached in a photo. If you'd like to include me in your show, I'd be thrilled. If you want, I can reach out again after the next 15 are gone. Cheers. Thank you again for you and your team. P.S. I'm Kirk010 on Connect." Kirk, I always forget when you reach an audience to the size that we're reaching that, words that you shouldn't use are always and never, because when you can finally touch the entire planet, someone will come along, and when you say never, someone will say, "Hey, wait a minute, what about me?" So that you were exactly right. I kind of meant that it was rare for someone to lose from day one all the way to goal without a single gain on the scale. I'm not saying it's impossible, and you're certainly out there getting it done. But what's important about this, Kirk, is that you're doing it. 33.4 pounds is a direct result of you every single time getting up, getting it done. Now, if you keep that up, you will prove me wrong and you will get to goal without a single gain on the scale. I want you to prove me wrong. I like it when you prove me wrong. It tells me that you're listening. It tells me that you're all in. You're very much in charge. It's very much your journey. Keep after it. I looked at your photo. You look amazing. I looked at your chart. That looks amazing as well. So thanks for writing in. Thanks for getting it done. Thanks for representing the other guys out there, showing that, this journey knows no gender. The weight loss mindset, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, it really makes no difference. What matters is you wake up on fire. What matters is you wake up saying, I want to do this. What matters is I say I believe in you and you say I believe in myself, and together we get it done. Well, this next email, Jeff writes in, and Jeff, again, sir, I edited a little bit of your email out, but you'll get the gist as we go through. But Jeff says, hello, Mike. I can't begin to express how much your podcast has helped me maintain my focus on this journey. Thanks for all the work you put into it, and above that, your service to our country. Today is my 1-year anniversary joining Weight Watchers, and I'm finally getting around to taking the advice that I've received from so many people and writing my story down. I posted this to my new blog, but I wanted to share it with you as well. I'm afraid it may be too long to use on your podcast, but it helps me just to get it out of my system. The past few years have been pretty rough for me. I had a wife who didn't want anything to do with me and wouldn't talk to me and tell me why. I thought that if I could lose the weight, it may change her attitude towards me. We had done Weight Watchers together years ago with great success, but each time she became upset when I started losing faster than she was. And she tried to make me feel guilty about it. When she saw that I was still staying on track and losing, I lost about 80 pounds in that time, she started accusing me of only going to Weight Watchers to look at the leader. Not wanting to cause any further stress in our marriage, I quit going, even though the accusations were absurd. I tried to follow the plan on my own, but soon my weight started creeping back up. After we got a new Weight Watcher leader in our area, we tried again a couple of times, but not for as long and without any good results. My weight got completely out of control, and I had a very physical job where I would stand for 12 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week, lifting and carrying heavy loads. The combination of my weight and my job caused such great pain in my feet that I got to the point of barely being able to walk. I went on short-term disability while getting treatment for the pain, but my weight kept going up. I became depressed from not being able to work and being stuck at home with someone who made it clear that she hated me. She even quit going to church with me, and she started going to another one. I begged her to go to counseling with me, and she finally agreed, but only if it was with her pastor. My doctor had given me a prescription for a mild mood stabilizer to take the edge off of my depression, but once I was working out again, I quit taking it because it was no longer necessary. In our counseling session, my wife played me up to be some sort of deranged lunatic who was off his meds. She even complained about it to her mother, so much that she paid to have my prescription filled and brought it to me. She handed me the bottle, ordered me to take them, and then told me that I needed them. I thanked her, put the bottle next to my alarm clock, so I couldn't forget to take them each morning. After a couple weeks, in one of our counseling sessions, my wife was going on and on about how wonderful things were now that I was back on my meds and how much easier I was to get along with. Her pastor was so happy for us, and they both told me what a good thing it was and how if it was nothing to be ashamed of for needing the pills to keep my mood stable. When they had finished gushing about it, I revealed that I'd never even opened the bottle, and I suggested that maybe the problem wasn't my moods, but her perception. Well, of course, that didn't help things at home, but at least I no longer had to deal with hearing her tell people I was off my meds. She also refused to go to counseling anymore, and when I tried to talk her into it, she snapped at me and said, "Hey, you're the one that wants this to work." Time crawled on as my weight crept up, and she got more bitter towards me each and every day. I tried everything I could think of to soften her view of me, but nothing worked. I finally started thinking that maybe she would be attracted to me again if I lost the weight. So I joined Weight Watchers again for the third or the fourth time. It was encouraging me when she joined as well. I went full out on the nutrition part of the plan as I had done for the first time, but this time I added exercise and I attacked it with the same zeal. She worked the nutrition part of the plan part-time, spent most of her free time in the recliner watching TV or sleeping. The results spoke for themselves, and she became even more resentful. It slowly started to dawn on me that it wouldn't matter if I got down to 170 or up to 710 because she was never going to be attracted to me again. I changed my focus from attracting her to trying to be healthy and feel better about myself. The more weight I lost, the more bitter and hateful she became. Eventually, I started getting compliments from other women. While I should have been happy that people were noticing my efforts, it actually scared me. Although I was married to someone who made me feel totally worthless, I was married nonetheless. I became afraid that eventually someone would come along who would be interested in more than just paying a compliment, and that I may not be strong enough to resist the temptation. I promptly quit Weight Watchers and quit exercising, and I purposely started eating everything I could get my hands on. The more fattening, the better. My weight quickly soared back above 300, and the compliments stopped. I spent countless hours sitting in my room, stuffing my face and praying that God would just let me go ahead and die if this was the way the rest of my life was going to be. I filed for divorce, and on March 1st, 2017, it became final. I was awarded custody of our son, and my stepdaughter moved in back to help take care of her brother. I walked out of that courthouse feeling like a new man, but then it dawned on me that I was having to start over at 47 years old. As I pondered how to even begin, I realized that the next day was Thursday, the day Weight Watchers meets in my area. I got there early, and I rejoined for what I intended to be the last time. It has been a year now, and I haven't let up since. I started out March 2nd, 2017 at 324.6 pounds, and I've achieved several goals since then. On March 30th, 5%. April 27th, down 25 pounds below 300. May 18th, 10%. July, down 50 pounds. September, down 100 pounds. January 11th, 2018, my BMI went from the obese range to the overweight range. While the weight loss and the better health are great, the best result that I've gotten from this journey so far is that I've been getting reacquainted with the real me that has been locked away inside this shell for so many years. The negativity has been melting away, and I have a renewed optimism for my future. My faith has grown stronger, and I know that God isn't finished with me yet, so I shouldn't be either. I am so thankful that He has blessed my efforts on this journey. I am also grateful for the tools Weight Watcher provides to help me along the way. The support provided by the Connect community, the meeting group, the WhysAdvice podcast all help me stay focused. I wanted to let you know that as of weigh-in yesterday, I am below 200 pounds for the first time since about 1989 or 1990. Your podcast has been one of the tools that helped me get here and will help me get to goal and stay there. So far, I have lost 124.8 pounds. I have 17.8 to go. Your common sense approach to the Weight Watcher plan, WhysAdvice, when you're out of points, stop eating points, has really resonated with me, and I've been trying to spread it to others as much as possible. The positivity that you, the Connect community, my local meeting group provide has been crucial in my ability to maintain focus this time around, and I'm confident that with all the support, I will not only reach goals sometime in the next couple months, but I will maintain it for the rest of my life. Thank you for your service to our country, and to all your listeners. You are an inspiration to us all. Your wingman, Jeff out of Texas. Jeff, what an amazing journey you are on. And one of the things that we know about this journey is you absolutely have to do it for you. No matter where you are, no matter what's going on, as you try and do this journey to please and satisfy other people, it never, ever works out. You've got to dig in for you. You've got to say, I am doing this for me. And sometimes that causes us to take the actions that you've done. It causes you to finally put you first, and you recognize it, and look how amazing your life is at this point. It's incredibly strong of you for sharing that. And as we talk about on this show all the time, the fact that you've taken the time to write this out, let somebody else right now know that maybe they're going through something similar, that as they can find a way to work it out or find a way to make a change, whatever they need to do, this gives them the freedom and the power to get it done. Dude, I'm incredibly proud of you. The numbers you threw out here are just absolutely amazing. When you finally set your mind up, when you finally said you're doing this for you and you got it done, starting at 324.6, now under 200, you have to know how incredible that is. You have to know that you did that. No matter what else is going on in your life, as you put yourself first, you took control and you got it done. 17.8 pounds to goal. You haven't reached that since 1989, 1990. That's an amazing accomplishment. This is a completely different life for you. More importantly, you've shown your family, your children, what healthy looks like, and they will emulate that for years to come. Jeff, thank you so much for writing in. An incredibly inspiring story. Keep up the amazing work. Next up, Kevin writes in, says, "Hi, FatDag. Hey, thanks for giving us members a platform to express ourselves regarding our struggles and victories in our Weight Watchers journey. Thanks for taking the time away from your family to encourage us and to support us all. I've been struggling with my weight ever since I stopped playing college football. My activity went down drastically, but my bad eating habits stayed the same. I was an offensive lineman and I played at about 265 or 270 pounds. After I stopped playing and working out on a regular basis, my weight started to creep up. I got as heavy as 425 pounds. I worked out and I tried to watch what I ate, and I lost about 121 pounds and I got down to 305. I started to eat more cake at birthday parties at work. My wife and I went out to dinner constantly, and I found back the weight that I had lost. Now tipping the scales at 425 pounds again, I came to the conclusion that I could not do this on my own. My mother-in-law, may she rest in peace, had great success at her weight loss with Weight Watchers. So on May of 2008, I joined for the first time. Back then, I was able to lose about 75 pounds, picking up the 25, the 50, and the 70-pound charms along the way. I got down as far as 343 pounds on the Points Plus program. In January of 2014, I lost my job. I could no longer afford Weight Watchers. I was out of work until July of 2014, not following any plan, just eating whatever I wanted whenever I wanted it. I decided to rejoin Weight Watchers when I started back to work. I yo-yoed again, gaining and losing the same 4 pounds for about 3 years. I was eating on the way home from work and then eating the dinner that my wife had cooked. I couldn't understand why I wasn't losing weight. I had a really hard time tracking it, and it reflected in my weight going up. It wasn't until November 2017 where it finally clicked for me. I told myself that I was going to work the plan because I knew it works if you work it. I started tracking every bite, lick, and taste, and I became serious about following the good health guidelines that I had so much success with the first time. I started drinking 64 ounces of water a day, getting my 3 servings of dairy in each day, getting my whole grains, and getting about 10 to 12 servings of fruits and vegetables each day. The weight started coming off. I recommitted to exercise, and I set my attendance goals at first twice a week, then 3 times a week. Up until now, I'm either on my exercise bike or treadmill 5 times a week. I'm striving to do as you say and do something active every day. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working on it. Sorry for such a long-winded email. I finally established what my why is. I have a few. I want to be able to buy clothes off the rack again. I am tired of being taken advantage of by the big and tall stores gouging me. I want to stop taking blood pressure and cholesterol and diabetes medications. I want to stop using my CPAP machine with oxygen. I never got to meet my dad's dad. My dad passed away at the early age of 60, and he never got to meet my children, his grandkids. I swore to myself that I would stick around long enough to meet my future grandchildren and play with them and spoil them like grandparents are supposed to do. I want to feel fit again, like when I was playing college football. There is a certain unspoken respect that you get from other people when you are fit and in shape. I feel like people have a lack of respect for overweight people, believing that we are all lazy and have no control. People look down at you when you're heavy and you're out of shape. I learned about your podcast from a 24/7 expert chat on the Weight Watcher app. I've been hooked ever since. I appreciate how you celebrate the first 5 pounds with just as much enthusiasm as someone that made Lifetime. Currently, I am 68.2 pounds down, and I have an ultimate goal of reaching 240 to 245 pounds. I'm currently at 356.8. I have 116 pounds to go. I know that if I stay laser focused, it's definitely doable. I have lost 19.8 pounds in the last 11 weeks. My wife has noticed the weight loss, and I'm no longer tired when climbing a flight of stairs. My clothes are loose on me, and it won't be much longer before I will have to buy smaller sizes due to swimming in my oversized clothes. Thanks for all you do for the Weight Watcher community and for our country. Respectfully, Kevin. Kevin, way to go. 68.2 pounds. Dude, that is absolutely fantastic. That's all you. That's you getting up, you getting it done. It's kind of like doing two-a-days, right? If you were a football player, you know all about two-a-days. You wake up thinking football, you go to bed thinking football. That's how you win championships. You're in a much bigger game now, sir. You're in a game for your life, and you wake up every single day wanting to get this done, getting off of your medication. It can be done. You want to buy clothes off the rack? It can be done. The beautiful thing about your email, everything you've outlined, you have the capability to go after. You're not asking for any sort of miracle. You're asking for things that I've read more than I can count on this show of people who've done exactly what you're trying to do. You've outlined a process and a path and a journey that is absolutely doable, and you're proving it by being down 68.2 pounds. Now, I agree with you. There is certainly a kind of an unspoken respect that you get from other people when you're fit and in shape. The world definitely looks different upon us when we're overweight. But that doesn't mean that we have to accept that. That means we can show the world that we can do whatever it is we want to do. You have to absolutely go out there and be the prize, just like your mother-in-law was. She had so much success in the program that was ingrained in your head for so long that you now knew that it was time for you to take control and get it done as well. It's an amazing journey. It's an amazing opportunity that you have. You know, the amount of discipline it took to be a college athlete was absolutely, it just doesn't happen by accident. You have the capability, you have the brain power, you have the mental capacity to do this. You clearly are getting it done. Thank you for writing in, Kevin. Keep up the amazing work. I want to know when you reach goal. Because when you reach goal, we will absolutely bump it to the front of the line. We will bring it on the next show, and we will yell from the rooftops that Kevin is at goal. You got this, says Jan. She's following along on Facebook. She says, you got this, Kevin. The whole Facebook group agrees, Kevin. You've got this. Go get it done. Next up, Tony. Tony writes in and says, hey there, shipmate, which is Navy speak for wingman. I'm Tony from Connecticut. I'm new to Weight Watchers, and on Connect, my username is Killer Snuffy. I haven't posted yet. I'm currently a father, a husband, a Navy reservist, a school teacher, and Uber to my children. I'm 6'1", and I was carrying 273 pounds. I joined Weight Watchers less than 4 weeks ago after encountering the straw that broke the camel's back. So what was the straw? It was my why. After 23 years in the Navy, combination of active duty and reserve time, and if I include the time at the academy, it's 27 years. My promotion may not happen because I failed my last PFA, your version of the Air Force PT test. I came in at 27% body fat. 26 is the max for my age and my height. At first, I resented the sailor that roped and choked me because he shortened me on 1 inch on my height. I went through the proper channels and I was not approved for a remeasurement. I even took the physical fitness portion of it and I killed it. But because I was over on my body composition, it was recorded as a failure. That was a blow to my ego, but probably it was the best thing that could have happened to me. My wife has been on Weight Watchers since July of 2017, and she's down 45 pounds, and she'd been hinting that I should join, but never outrightly asked me to do so. I figured I could follow along with what she was doing, and I would be fine. There I was on 8 February 2018 doing the weight yo-yo. 273 pounds down to 268, back up again. This following along thing was not working out. My uniforms were getting tight, and I was considering buying new uniforms, slacks, in athletic fit. That's Navy speak for husky. So my immediate why is to be within standards so I can get promoted. But this is my short-term goal. My family and my sailors have both sacrificed so much, and I worked too hard to have my promotion held up or not happen because I can't control my eating habits. Over the last few weeks, I've been really self-reflective about my weight journey. I've referred to Weight Watchers as being my 12-step program for food. I went through the whole denial phase. It's everyone else's fault. I then realized I have been the one to blame. I don't blame the sailor for my mismeasuring my height. After all, I've been playing Russian roulette with my fitness assessment for the last 27 years. Always just barely making it. How much can I suck in? How much can I push my Adam's apple down? It finally caught up to me. Then I started thinking about my food journey since I was a child. I was always called husky, big boned. I would eat a small pizza myself as a kid with lots of soda. We would go to Friendly's and I would eat a Jim Dandy size sundae for dinner, or go to Pizza Hut and eat an extra large pizza, breadsticks, and a pitcher of soda with my father, then bragging about how sick we felt after going to an all-you-can-eat buffet and piling it on and bragging about eating multiple plates of food. When we had the money, we would binge. I remember many nights of rice and chunky soup. We always cleaned our plate. This was all before high school. High school rolled around and I became a thrower on the track team. I threw shot put, discus, and javelin, and eventually I added the hammer in college. I was encouraged to bulk up. I would eat a box of pasta for breakfast, 2 or 3 sandwiches for lunch to carb load for the track meet. Then I would eat more pasta to recover after the meet. That was the prevailing thought at the time. I graduated high school at the ripe old age of 17, pushing 290 pounds, and I joined the Navy. My college throws coach told me I needed to gain 30 plus pounds to be competitive at 6'1", and at 215 I was a small thrower in our conference. My parents dropped me off at the academy in July, and they didn't see me until the acceptance day in September. My mother didn't recognize me when I walked past her in formation. During our version of boot camp, I dropped down to probably 210 pounds. In short, progressively packed the weight back on until I graduated around 225. I have spent my entire career getting roped and choked. I was actually within standards for a New York minute. Then my fiance, now my wife, came to visit me in Texas, and she asked if I was sick, worried if I developed cancer or worse. During this time, and until recently, I would pass the body composition by taking diet aids, crash diet, stressing, doing handstands prior to measurements to get more blood to my neck. Crazy, crazy stuff. You name the chemical diet pill fad, I probably tried it. I was mobilized in 2007, and the Navy doc said a year in the desert would help me lose weight. I went over at 278 pounds. I came back at 273, but I proved the doc wrong. After a year in the desert, I didn't really lose any weight. The only time I didn't fear the body composition or the fitness test was when I was CrossFitting and eating paleo. I was doing great. I got down to 243 pounds, and after a bunch of 5Ks, half marathons, mud runs, competed in throwdowns, and eventually I ran the Marine Corps Marathon in 2012. I was on top of the world. When my Navy Operational Support Center, the NOSC, and the Reserve Center messed up on a rope and choke measurement, it didn't matter. I was still within standards. Then the evil complacency trap hit me. I can eat anything I want because I just ran a marathon. I CrossFit. I worked out only to eat, and I didn't fuel my body to work out. During my last operational tour with my mobile security teams, my dry suit started to get snug. I had to get a larger size because, well, they're not really supposed to be form-fitting. My body armor was getting tighter. When I would take off those items, it was like my body sighed in relief. So now I've traded in my body armor and side armor in for a laptop. I'm now part of a mobile training team traveling across the country to different NOS teaching leadership and ethics. So here I am, no longer able to wear my fatigues and hide my shape. I had to wear khakis. I bought a size 44 athletic fit a year ago, and they just fit. They just barely fit for my class in January, and actually now they're getting snug. My wife started listening to your podcast while making dinner. The force is strong with her. She knew that I was listening. The one that impacted me the most was episode 12. It's where you stated your why. Every bit of it resonated with me. You and I share a similar journey. You just wore the Air Force blue and me the Navy blue. On February 8th, 2018, shaking and unsure, I joined Weight Watchers online. It took me about an hour to pull the proverbial trigger. My wife has been my coach and daily support group. In the days that followed during my commute, I realized at times that I was sabotaging my wife's success by bringing home ice cream or munchkins. Or I was being too easy to recommend pizza or other takeout food for dinner. Part of my 12 steps was to apologize for all the unknowing sabotages I threw at her. I came to peace with the sailor that measured me for my last fitness assessment. I wasn't big-boned or husky as a child. I was overweight. I started to listen to my children ask me every day at pickup to take them to the bakery or to Dairy Queen for a snack. It all became crystal clear to me that I was a food addict, a junkie. Food was my drug, and I was turning my kids into food junkies too. I apologized to them as well. I started to binge listen to your podcast, starting from your very first episode. I realized I'm not alone. I realized there are more people like me in the military struggling to maintain the standards. I always saw sailors walk in, get weighed, and walk out, never stressing about it. I agree with you. The military does a terrible job helping people in this population. I'm sure your doc said the same thing to you. Eat less, do more sit-ups and running. In every episode, I've heard something that struck a chord with me. And a couple of episodes where my eyes started to tear up. They hit way too close to home. I like the fact that you always say, work your plan. I tried eating to use up my daily points, but my bathroom scale didn't move in the direction that I wanted. I started to keep my points eaten below my dailies while not tapping into my weeklies or my fit points. The scale finally responded accordingly. The needle dropped. I only tap into my weeklies when I'm on travel. Even then, I try to be good and only feel the need to use them when I'm in the airport during a layover. The program isn't difficult. Plan what you eat and eat your plan. Oh my God, train the way you fight, fight the way you train. I'm seeing some parallels here. I've become more aware of what I'm putting in my mouth. In fact, I'm eating better now than I ever have before. I'm virtually never hungry, and if I get the hungries, I eat some carrots or a piece of fruit. If I want some Cheetos, I weigh myself a bowl. I don't haphazardly eat my children's snacks when I make them. I make the bakery a truly once-in-a-while treat, and I sit back and enjoy a cup of coffee. Is this how adults eat? How did they learn these rules? Why did it take me into my mid-40s to learn this? After my last trip to the grocery store, I realized that the veggies and the fruit outnumbered everything else in the cart. That's a victory. My children are asking for grapes instead of donuts. This is food re-education program, and it's building new habits. How do you build new habits? by repetitive actions, the whole muscle memory idea. I'm almost 4 weeks into the program. I'm down 15 pounds. My current khaki slacks are so baggy, I look like a clown. I found an older size 42 regular fit, and they fit perfectly. My initial goal I set was 243 pounds, my marathon running weight. But then I said, wait, I was once at 215. Why couldn't I see that number again? Could I be at my wedding weight? I'll see where this journey takes me, and I'll wait until I get that feeling that you always talk about before I do my best Andre Cantor impression, where he's a soccer announcer from Mexico. He says, "Goal!" Right? Absolutely. And then my long-term why is not to have the retirement my parents had. My father was forced into early retirement because of a heart attack. In their retirement, they suffered from diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, hypertension, heart disease, prostate cancer, stroke, and eventually dialysis. Their retirement was spent in and out of the hospital, blood tests, doctor's appointments. My mother passed away at a young age of 75 before she could get to know her youngest granddaughters. Pretty much, if I continue on my path, I'm doomed. I was already taking cholesterol medicine, and my doc threatened me with high blood pressure medicine if I didn't get it under control. I want to enjoy my retirement with my wife, enjoy my children, enjoy my grandchildren, without fear of spending my retirement in the hospital. I'm sorry for being long-winded, but thank you for your time. We've never met in person, but I feel like I know you. Thank you for inspiring me. One of these days, I'll put a post of a before and after on Connect. Thanks for being my shipmate. Fair winds and following seas. Tony. P.S. He kicks in a Go Red Sox and Go Patriots. Tony, dude, this is, when I read your email, I ended up taking a couple paragraphs out about how amazing your wife is, only because I wanted to make sure I got to the highlights of your email. As amazing as she was to get you on board and to carry you through and to be your support network, I wanted to emphasize here how amazing you are. This is why I do the show. This is why it's why, as difficult as things get for all of us, this becomes important because your story is my story. And if you take the military piece out of it, it's all of our stories. We battle with this food addiction. We battle with not knowing how to eat. We battle with not liking how we look in our clothes. We battle with so much, and we give all of that battle to our children. And we teach them what we think is correct. And you are absolutely recognizing it. And the fact that you've now changed your life and you've now changed their life, it really brings true that your long-term why is to not have the same retirement your parents did. And you are on your path to doing that. Currently down 15 pounds is all you. That is focus. That is discipline. That is your willingness to go kick this thing and get it done. You can't be in the Navy this long and not be an amazing dude. And so without the focus and discipline, you can, with the discipline you've had is what enables you to do this. That's what's enabled you to have a successful Navy career, even coming from the academy. Everything you need for success, you have. 100%. You have your why. You know you have your focus. You have an amazing support system, obviously here in Connect and certainly with your wife. And I love how you give her all the credit in the pieces that I cut out. And so I just want to reemphasize that the pieces that you shared, she sounds like an amazing woman. You sound like an amazing family. Uber dad driving all over the place. Man, if that's not worth it, I don't know what is. And you're doing it. And the last piece I want to address is that when you talk about being in the Navy and talk about, obviously it's the similar fears or similar thoughts that I had is you blame the guy taping you and you want to come up with every single excuse and you do every single crazy thing out there to try and lose the weight. And then you finally own it and say, wait a minute, I'm not big boned. I'm overweight. And when you finally understand what the problem is, that's when you finally can make the change, and you have outlined this change perfectly. I hope you've caught up to episode 182. 182 outlines my story. It kind of parallels your story. But dude, you are unstoppable. You absolutely are unstoppable. And the amazing strength that you took to document this and to get it written down, it has to be absolutely therapeutic. And everyone who writes in, that's one of the things that I say is just, even if we don't get it on the air, the mere fact that you've written it down tells me that you're ready. It tells me that you want to do this, and it releases it, and it puts it out to the world that says, I'm ready. There's nothing that's going to stop me. And then that's the point when we celebrate. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to FatDag.com, click on WhysAdvice Podcast, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations, because I really want you to be proud of what you're doing. I want you to email in your stories, because as you share them, other people understand this is what it's all about. It doesn't matter what is going on in your life. You can do this. It takes focus. It takes discipline. It takes you digging in saying, I want to make a change. And when you recognize that where you're headed is where you don't want to be, that's the point where you can make the change. And when you make the change, the power that comes from that change is just automatically, it's given out to other people who are with you. And as you share it, they pick up on it. You become the prize, and together we get it done. Gentlemen, thank you for your email. Episode 185, just an amazing show from my perspective, and I just cannot thank you enough for sharing your journey. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember, losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you could focus. Thank you for listening to the WhysAdvice podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit FatDag.com, click on Become a Patron today.